What's poppin'? It's your boy Contravane from the CV Podcast. And before we get started, I just want to say it's been a pleasure being with you guys this whole semester. This is going to be a very personal podcast, and I guess that's what we've been building up to this whole time, getting more and more personal. And this one's going to be some of my deepest stories when it comes to my writing career. So we're going to pick up right where we left off last podcast. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. Gives a lot of context for what's happening here. Can't really summarize it all right now. So go check it out. Boom. Okay, so picking it up. Contravane, The Pursuit comes out, all right? And people like it. I'm speaking from my heart, and they feel personable with it. But one person that really isn't a big fan of it, and I kind of foresaw it coming, was the girl that the first nine songs were about. And I understood. She felt bad that she made me feel that way when I was writing the music, that she made me feel that sad. But that's just kind of how life is. That's how the songwriting industry goes, as I mentioned before. So I'm trying to think of my third album, right? So I have Contra, boom, The Pursuit's up here, and I feel like if I continue steamrolling through, maybe I can gain some popularity and actually go somewhere. So I'm trying to think of my third album. I'm trying to figure out what I want to write it about, because my first one was about wanting to be different. And the second one was about the bad relationship I was in. So I was like, what am I going to write about anymore? And one song, at least, kind of fell into my lap. The girl I was seeing, we decided we were going to split up. We never really were together officially, but we were trying, and we were arguing all the time and getting into all these petty fights. So we decided, you know what, we're just going to split up. We'll still be friends, still be acquaintances, on good terms, whatnot, but this whole relationship thing isn't meant for us. And it was really upsetting for me because, the years leading up to last year, she was the one putting a lot of effort in, but the past few months, I was putting so much in trying to get us to be happy together and to be dating for real and whatnot. And she just wasn't reciprocating those feelings. And I understand, believe me, she was going through a hard time. I don't blame her for any of it, but it was still really upsetting for me. So I went and I decided I was going to write a song about it. Now, I just for some context, my general songwriting process, I don't usually write about specific things. I'll find a beat that I like, and then whatever vibe it gives off, I'll match that vibe. So like all those sad songs that were about her and The Pursuit, they weren't like specific examples of her. It was more so me being sad and then talking about sad things that were a result of our relationship. So I never really went into something thinking I was going to write about specific events or specific actions or whatnot. It was more so I just go in there and match a vibe and just spit out whatever comes to my head. And a lot of songs could tell that because they weren't all the best. But I sat down and I was upset. I searched up Slim Shady type beat. And I think you guys can tell where this is going. So I search up Slim Shady type beat. I find a good one that I really like. And I just start spitting on it. I'm upset. It's pretty vulgar, pretty brutal. I finish it up and I listen to it back. And I'm like, well, I didn't write it about her, but I can see how people would think that it's about her. Especially people that know about what happened between us. They might look at it and think that I'm talking about her, even though I'm not. So I'm like, okay, I foresaw there might be some problems. Just to clear it up, I texted her and I said, hey, listen, I wrote the song. It's not really about you. All right, people might think it's about you, but I promised it's not about you. And she was like, well, can I read the lyrics? And I was like, well, I usually only let people read the lyrics or listen to songs if it's about them. And I kind of had to draw the line. I was like, it's not about you, so no. And she's like, okay, thank you for letting me know. Thanks for the heads up. I was like, okay, I'm off the hook. If anybody comes to her after the song drops, she's going to know the truth. That it's not about her. You can see where this is going. So I finished writing the album, and I call it Of Clout, which to this day still don't like, because I wanted to leave The Pursuit up in the air. The pursuit of what? And I said Of Clout. So it's The Pursuit of Clout. And, it's not really a great album title, especially for what happens later. It's just not the best. But that's what it was. Of Clout. The picture matches the album title. The picture is a cool picture for Of Clout, but the rest of it, not really great. So I finished it up, and the whole album is pretty much just me trying to flex, being a little more mainstream. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to write about, so I just talked about what I heard rappers talking about. Even though I didn't have all the money, I was like, oh, there's money and whatnot. I was just having fun with it, trying to make songs that sound good. And they were shallower songs. They weren't as deep. But I thought they were better to listen to, and they were better produced, and they had better flows and better lyrics, and just sounded better in general. So it drops on May 16th, 2020, and a specific song starts getting a lot of streams. Can you guess what song it's going to be? And I'm kind of worried. I'm like, is it because the song is good? Because in my opinion, it was the best song on the album. It was genuinely a good song. Or is it because people are like, listen to what Jason had to say about the girl and not? And I was worried. And then I posted a picture on Facebook talking about the album being released. And I got a ton of laugh reacts. And I was like, this is getting kind of out of hand. And I'm headed to work that night. Same night, May 16th at like 9 p.m., headed to work. And I get added into a Snapchat group chat with 6 girls in it. And I'm like, shit. This is it. I will not live past tonight. They're going to crucify me. So they just start going off. And I'm pretty sure that they got together before they made the group chat and they planned out what they were going to say. Because they would say this whole long message of stuff, and I would address everything in their message. And the next message from a different person would be the same stuff as before. And it's like, I just addressed that. So their big points were like, how could you say that about her? How could you say that about her? How could you say that about anybody? And they would refer to the texts that I sent and the name of the album. Okay? So, let's break those down one by one. Because you're listening to my podcast, so you get my side of the story, right? I'm trying to tell it as unbiased as possible, as truthful. I'm not one to lie. This is the story, right? So, how could you say that about her? My response is, the song is not about her. Seems simple as that, I wrote it when I was upset with her, but I wasn't talking about any of our experiences together. Well, how could you say that about any girl? Well, they're not really about any girl. It's just I'm talking to an ambiguous figure. And that might have been their best point because, maybe, from my perspective, I'm not talking about anybody. I'm not insulting anybody. I'm not degrading any races or sexes. I'm not degrading any sexes. But, okay, maybe I could be because I was saying a lot of crazy things or whatnot. Okay, and then what else? They refer to the message I sent her, the fact that I wouldn't let her read the lyrics of the song or listen to the songs, and it's like I don't see how that would correlate because she's gonna hear it anyway, and she doesn't need to hear it if it's not about her. I don't want everything getting out there so people know exactly what every song is gonna be like before the album drops. And then the last one, the name of clout, they were assuming that I was insulting her, making up crazy stories to gain clout for myself. Which, maybe, because that's kind of what clout is. But, no, the album name really didn't have to do with the song. Because in the song, I did make a lot of insane claims. I mean, a lot of general claims that could be for any relationship. And then I made some crazy claims that were, really out there, really crazy situations. And I did that because it wasn't about anybody in specific. And that was supposed to be a point. If someone listens to it and they hear me say that and they're like, there's no way that happened. Because it didn't happen. And they're like, you're trying to spread these rumors about her. And they said that they're like, it's slander. You're slandering her name and stuff. And it's it's not about her. They're just fake stories. You know what I mean? I don't understand. I don't know what wouldn't go through their brain. They were dead set that I was trying to make a diss track about her when I was not. That's not the kind of person I am. And the biggest problem was that, A, it was my friend group. It was my whole friend group. It wasn't just random girls. It was my friend group. And B, I had known them since elementary school. They should know that that's not the kind of person that I am. I'm not somebody who's malicious or somebody that's going to go out there and try to hurt people's feelings. Yes, I've hurt people, but not on purpose. I'm a very straightforward person, so sometimes words come out wrong or I say the wrong thing. I never say something with intent to hurt somebody's feelings because that's just not the kind of person I am. And somehow they forgot that or they just never saw it. They didn't appreciate it. I don't know, but they seem to have it dead set in their mind that I was trying to slander her name and write these crazy songs about her. And it's just no. I tried explaining that. That's not what happened. But they kept going, they kept going. There was all the girls in my friend group, and all the guys in their friend group didn't want to get involved. And that was like, what the hell, man? Like, we've been through so much together. Like, I helped these guys out. I've done everything for them. And it's not like I expect everything from them back, but like, just to have my back, you know, like, be like, yeah, maybe the song isn't about her, but no, they just stayed out of it completely, whatever. And you know, I don't blame them. You know, I might not want to get involved either, but like, at the same time, like, if my best friend is getting harassed, I'm going to step in and say, hey, you know, whatever, like, if it's blatantly obvious that they're wrong, it's like, well, you know, that just, you know, no one had my back. You know, I felt like the world was against me. Whatever. So they were like, if you apologize to the girl and you delete the song from all the streaming services. And I was like, what am I going to apologize for? Because like, I can't be sincere with an apology because I don't feel sorry for anything. Because I warned her that it's not about her and that people might think it's about her. I warned her. What more can I do? It's whatever. And then to delete the songs from the services, like, it's not easy. Just delete one song. I had to delete the entire album and then re-upload it without the one song in it. And I did it too. I did it. I apologized. I apologized twice. The first time was a really bad apology. I apologized for everything that I thought I was sorry for, which wasn't much. I was like, I'm sorry that people think it's about you. I'm sorry they feel that way. And like, yeah, it's a bad apology, but like, I didn't feel sorry for anything because I did what I could, whatever. But then I was like, okay, you know, these are my friends. I don't have really anybody else in my life. So I was like, I'll put together a sincere apology. You know, I'm sorry I said these things. Sorry, yada, yada, yada. I said everything I wanted that I felt like they wanted to hear because I didn't want to lose my friends. And they seemed to accept it. And I deleted my whole album. I took streaming hits. I took a hit on streaming and my revenue just so they could feel like they won or whatever. A week later, the album came back up without the song. Like, imagine like your favorite artist drops an album out of nowhere, it just disappears for a week, you know, and then comes back up. Like, that's whatever. So that all happened. And I was like, okay, you know, I apologized as sincere as I could, and they seemed to like it. And we had a discussion talking about maturity or whatever. I wasn't the mature one in the situation trying to defend myself. And they were like, you had excuses for everything you said. It's like, did I have excuses for what you were saying, or was I answering your questions with the truth? You know, like, I wasn't just making up stuff as we went along. Like, I was just answering what you had to say, you know, but whatever. We had that whole conversation. And, you know, it seemed like they were on the up and up. You know, maybe we're going to reconcile and whatnot. Then the COVID restrictions kind of started lifting a little bit more. You know, we could have more get-togethers, more people together and whatnot. And they started having parties and they started getting together around the campfire at night and whatnot without me. They would all do all those things and they wouldn't invite me to them. And I was like, oh my God, this is how it's going to go. And they even planned a birthday party for a guy that they had never even like really cared about the year before or anytime before. They never celebrated his birthday before, but they planned this whole birthday party for him just so they could not invite me to it. That's the word I got. Word gets down. I heard that they planned it. They were doing things just so I could not be involved. At that point, I was like, screw that. Like, you know, it's nice to have friends and people to talk to, but if this is what it's going to be like, if you're going to flip a switch like that after knowing me since elementary school and you're going to do this to me, like, no, that's not going to fly with me. So I blocked them all. I haven't talked to them since. And, you know, as a person, I've grown a lot since then. Like, they definitely did hold me down as a group. Like, you know, I never really felt comfortable around them, and I just kind of wrote it off. You know, and since then I've been more comfortable with myself, coming out of my shell more because they're not holding me down anymore. So in the end, for me, I feel like it was a good thing to shed that dead weight. You know, like if I were to find out in 20 years that they were that bad, those bad people, maybe I'd be more upset with myself because I didn't see it before and I went that long in my life. But, you know, just out of high school, it's not as bad. They're all gone. I make new friends, better judgment, whatnot. So all that happened because of one song. And that was the downhill part. And my streams also took a hit from there on since, so in the end, it's kind of good. But it was very frustrating and very depressing in the time because everything I was going through was just like no one had my back. Like my parents did. But like that just doesn't really mean as much as like someone else. Like it was nice having the support, but to have even one or two friends reach out and be like, hey, like I got your back, or but like no, they were all like, just apologize, just do what they want. It's like I'm not gonna just fold to someone because they ganged up on me and they had the numbers. I tried to stand up for myself and it didn't work, and it's just not. They just weren't willing to accept how I am as a person. Whatever. So just a quick summary, or we're gonna do a little summary of the next few albums. I dropped Contraband versus the World, which is because that's how I kind of felt. I felt like it was me against everybody at that point. I was getting unnecessary hate for my songs and whatnot for different songs that weren't that one, and it was just getting frustrating. And I started to really enjoy the writing process so much and recording that I didn't want to stop. But people were sending hate and whatnot, and it was very frustrating. So I dropped that, and I feel like as an overall album, it was the best that I've dropped as a solid album. A lot of catchy songs on it, a lot of really good ones. And then I followed it up by Contraband versus the Universe. And that was my last album of the year. And I was trying to go with the progression, the pursuit of clout. Hate that. And then Contraband versus the World, Contraband versus the Universe, progressions. And Contraband versus the Universe is where I started writing songs about what had happened back in May. And people didn't like that either. And it's just like, they were like, why are you still talking about them? And it's like, well, first of all, I wrote those songs a while ago, so it's not like I'm still talking about them now. But it's like, that's my experiences. Like, these people absolutely betrayed me and backstabbed me. Like, I feel like I have a right to tell my side of the story, and whatnot. So that dropped, and then I had 2020 came out at the very end of 2020, which is a summary of the whole year before that. And little fun fact, there's only 1 month that I missed a release in the entirety of 2020, and that was in June. Every single other month I had an album or a single drop. So that's how busy I was at work. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to my whole rap career, all in the 2020 span, a little bit before then, talking about how I started and whatnot. It's been a great ride with you guys. It's been a pleasure being in your class. As I said before, some personal and deep stories, pretty crazy. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys. Have a great summer. Enjoy the rest of your time. Be cool.